A slurring and sweaty Donald Trump gave a speech in Las Vegas. I'm starting to think that the people around Trump are watching my content. Trump complaining about the fact that people say he's sweaty and he's at his rallies when he is so obviously sweaty at his rallies. He claims that it's 100 degrees at every rally. It was 100 degrees in Iowa in January. No, it was record cold, where it was so cold they were worried people weren't going to come out and vote. But Trump says it gets really hot. He really doesn't like people talking about his sweating.
Sometimes it's 100, 110 degrees. Sometimes in some of these buildings weren't built for this, right? Crowds like this. And if I'm a little bit wet, they say, oh, he was sweating. He was sweating. I don't think there are too many people up here that wouldn't be sweating. Not too many people could speak the first paragraph.
You know, I genuinely have no idea how many other media outlets include Trump's incredibly soaking wet appearance in their titles and reporting. We suspected in 2020 that there was someone around Trump who was watching our content. And maybe that's where they're getting this. And people are telling Trump, they're saying you're sweaty, sir, they're sweaty. Okay, a lot of the rally focused on dementia. Trump telling the crowd that many of them have dementia. Trump saying the dementia test is really hard. And in the midst of all this, before we get to it, Trump coming up with this phrase, peace through earth, which is not a phrase I'm familiar with.
And we will restore on this planet peace through earth. I am the only candidate who can make this promise to you.
It's the only person I've ever heard say he will deliver peace through earth. I thought it was peace through strength. But Trump apparently, the prompter must have been glitchy, coming up with his own version of that. All right, so then we go into the hardcore dementia stuff. When Trump gets this obsessed with one topic, you know he's worried about it. Here, Trump starts by calling for mandatory dementia tests for all presidential candidates, which, by the way, Nikki Haley has also called for.
And I think anybody running for president should take an aptitude or a cognitive test. I do. I think it. You want to have people that can pass things. And I took one in office. Remember, they were saying, first they said, this guy is brilliant. He wants to take over the world. He wants to take, that didn't work. Then they went to about 4 different scenarios. Then they said, he wants total control of the United States. He's never going to give up control. He's totally brilliant. Then they went to a different one. That didn't work too much. That didn't scare people. Then they said, he's dumb as a rock. He's dumb as a rock. I said, oh, that one I don't like. So I said to Doc Ronnie, do you know Doc Ronnie? From Texas, the White House doctor.
All right, so he says everybody should take the tests. He's clearly very worried because Nikki Haley is now targeting him on this issue. Trump says he definitely doesn't have dementia because he's related to someone who taught at MIT.
Texas. And I said to him, you know, Ronnie, I'd like to take a cognitive test. I never heard of it before, but whatever it is. I like tests. I've always liked tests. Tests are very interesting. And, you know, I had an uncle.
Tests are interesting. There's an insight.
He's the longest serving professor, Dr. John Trump, in the history of MIT. Same genes. We have genes. We're smart.
By the way, I don't think that's right. It seems that this guy he's mentioning taught at MIT 37 years, but there are a whole bunch of other professors that have taught there longer. Gilbert Strang, Heather Lechtman's still there. She's been there since 74. Even that is a lie. He can't tell the truth about anything.
People, we're smart people, you know? We're like Mr. Lieutenant Governor, we're like racehorses too. You know, the fast ones produce the fast ones and the slow.
Yeah. So anyway, Trump's genes and his blood apparently make him certainly not having any issues. Trump then seems to tell the people in the room that lots of them have dementia. It's an unusual strategy. I've never seen a candidate rally his base by telling a crowd of supporters that they have dementia, but that's what Trump is effectively doing here.
Yeah, it's a tough test. The first couple of questions are easy, like they'll have a lion, a giraffe, a whale, and a shark. And they'll say, which one's the lion, okay? And that's all the press covered, the first question. They didn't cover the last question. Multiply 4,733. Multiply times 7. Divide, without paper and pencil, by the way. Divide it by 4.
You know, this question he's describing wasn't on the test we saw that he took. So it's actually, He seems to be lying about the content of the test as well.
Add up another 37 and a half, 0.5. I remember that. And what's your number? How many people in this room could do it? Not too many. Or they give you 6 names in a row. I took a lot of heat on this. They give you 6 names in a row at the beginning. Sir, I'm going to give you 6 names. Good. They look at them. A chair, a hat, a badge, a necklace, and they vote. Those things. We're going to give you 6 things. And I say,
one person clapping. I love that. Someone liked those 6 things.
What's going on? Can you rename them? So I name them. Then they go back, and if you can do it in order, that's even better. I do them in order, perfect. Then they come back to you 30 minutes later at the end, last question. They say, what were those 6 things? That there aren't too many people, and they laughed, everyone said, oh, that's so easy. There's only about 2% of this room can do it, but I did it.
There you go. So Trump apparently indicating that 98% of this room has more cognitive decline than he does. The fact that he's talking about this so much tells us he's very worried about it. And I have to say, if you're insisting dementia tests and brain injury tests are hard, you might have a problem. I don't know how else to say it, but these are tests meant to screen for pretty serious stuff. And Trump's arguing they are extraordinarily difficult tests. It's all getting really weird. And he's extremely worried because Nikki Haley is talking about this. Fox News has started talking about it. Now, more substantively, Trump has started to say during speeches that there will be a terrorist attack soon.
And there's a 100% chance that there will be a major terrorist attack in the United States, or many attacks maybe. And it's all because of what's happened over the last 3 years.
He believes, because Sean Hannity suggested it to him, he said it the other day, that there will be, if Joe Biden remains president, there will be a major terrorist attack. Now, the truth is, at any time, there may be a major terrorist attack. Trump has made a number of these predictions. For example, in 2020, he said that if Biden wins, there will be a 1929 style stock market crash. Stocks hit yet another all-time high last week. There might have been 2 new all-time highs last week. So my suggestion is take these predictions with a grain of salt. Trump suggesting a solution to shoplifting. This is an interesting one.
You can solve that in 1 hour. All you do is 1 hour. You have to treat the first one out the door of the next time it happens extremely tough. That means anything you want to do. And as soon as that word gets out and you let people know, from now on, you don't walk out with aspirin.
There you go. Walk out with aspirin. It's going to be very, very serious. And then lastly, this is as close as Trump came to mentioning E. Jean Carroll. The point of $83 million as a verdict is it has to be painful enough that Trump won't keep defaming her. He doesn't mention her name. He just very superficially alludes to it. So maybe the 83 million was the right verdict.
He is a real threat. What they're doing with elections and election interference, as an example, what they do with me. Look at yesterday. Look at all this crap that's going on. But we keep marching forward. We just keep going. And somehow it all works out.
It all works out. So listen, it sounds like the verdict was big enough to scare Trump off from continuing to attack E. Jean Carroll and saying, I never met her and she's not attractive enough for me to sexually assault her and the whole thing. This guy's suffering. This guy's suffering, and I would be suffering if I were in his shoes. It's the truth. If I had 91 felony counts against me, $83 million finding, maybe going to lose the ability to do business in New York, potentially spending the rest of my life in prison, I'd be struggling too. And he is very clearly struggling. It would be great if as a country we realized this guy has no business being anywhere near the Oval Office. Someone else who has no business being near elected office is Lauren Boebert. We might be about to knock Boebert out of the House of Representatives. After this short break, I want to talk to you about that. Our sponsor, Oxygen, is really the online banking app that you didn't know you needed. Oxygen has both personal and small business accounts, and what I find super compelling is they're geared towards entrepreneurs who want to turn some kind of side business into a full-time business, because Oxygen will incorporate your small business for you while separating your personal and business banking to make things like invoicing, payroll, and taxes easier. You can get up to 5% cash back on business expenses, up to an impressive 6% on personal spending with their debit cards, which is amazing. And then on the personal banking side, Oxygen lets you send and receive money with your friends and family using peer-to-peer payments, easy to split a bill, share expenses, send holiday gifts to your loved ones. And having won several awards for their industry-leading benefits, features, and cash back, Oxygen is really the place to start and grow your business. And it's great for personal banking as well. With over 750,000 accounts opened, Oxygen is a trusted resource with some of the best rewards in the industry. Go to davidpakman.com/oxygen to sign up for the account that works best for you or your business. The link is down below.